I'm back with another case study. This time I've got a Twitter legend with me, SaaSWiz. What up, SaaSWiz?
Hey Nabil, how's it going?
So for the people who don't know you, please introduce yourself and tell people about your various products that you're working on right now.
Yeah, sure. So right now I run a SaaS empire. Basically, I build really small tech companies for marketers or anyone that makes money online. So I have Instagram email scrapers. A lot of my SaaS is based around email, cold email, or email automation and leads. So I have Contact Ecom for verified leads for e-commerce stores, Scrape Info, which gives you emails for digital creators, coaches, etc., and Scrapegram, which is my main one that I'm trying to sell soon. And that's the one that you can just type in any niche you want, and you can scrape emails directly from Instagram.
So I think you contacted me to write you some cold emails to promote Scrapegram. So tell me a little bit about what you were doing before that.
So before I was working, I tested out a bunch of different lead generation methods for Scrapegram. So I tried Google Ads, I tried mass DMs on Instagram, I tried cold email, Facebook ads, and I wanted to give cold email a shot. I'm not very good at cold email personally. So I tried some testing and I reached out to Nabil because I did hire him before for another project. So the results were really awesome. We got a much higher response rate and click rate compared to previously. So before I was just writing them, and with Instagram, you can't really do first lines like you can with LinkedIn, at least not yet. So it was kind of tough trying to make it work for them.
So tell me about the sort of results that you were getting when you were doing the cold email yourself. What was your open rate like? What was your reply rate like? What was the conversion rate like? That kind of thing.
So my open rates were fairly low, probably like 40 to 50%. And then afterwards, it was a little bit higher with yours, but the response rate was much, much higher. So at the end of the day, you want people to reply and actually click. And the reply and click rate and the conversion rate was much, much higher than compared to what I was doing before. So yeah, it was a big, big game changer because I was able to target people without even sending like a personalized first line. We were able to send the same email to a specific niche, and the response rate was huge. For example, so I sent out I sent about 100 emails for one campaign, and I got about 8 replies, which is pretty good, right? Especially just for like cold email. And I only sent one email too. I didn't send a bunch of follow-ups like other people do. So yeah, the results were really great.
So 8% reply. And what was the ballpark like reply rate before that?
Oh, it was bad. It was like, let me check right now. So I have one where basically I get a reply for every 100 emails.
So we went from 1% to 8% reply rate.
Right, yeah.
Which is a 800% increase.
Yeah, definitely.
We got 8x, which is pretty sick, right? Because there's no first line. You actually have to make a good offer and write some real copy. You can't use the gimmick of a first line to get a response.
Exactly. I found that like when using your emails, as long as you have a good offer and a good email, you don't really need to use first lines as kind of like a crutch, because people will just see it and they'll want to buy it or actually be interested and reply.
That's what I've been telling people is what really matters is the offer that you're making. Yeah, sure, the personalized first line will get their attention and get them to open it, but it's not going to make them reply. What's going to make them reply is the actual offer. And then on top of that, you don't actually need a first line to get people to open an email. Really what opens the email is a subject line. So then you use the subject line, get them to open it. And then once you hit them directly with the offer immediately, then they're just going to respond if they want it, or they're going to ignore it if they don't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the subject line is a huge factor because you can tell if something's spam or automated most of the time by how the subject line is, but also the preview text. When you get a notification on Gmail, for example, you can see like 2 sentences of the email. I think that's also very important.
When you messaged me, you mentioned that you were using ConvertKit for sending some emails. Was that for the leads that you generated from Facebook?
Yeah, so I was using ConvertKit previously, but for cold email, I was using my own SaaS called Personalised to send out the cold emails.
I remember we were talking on DMs and you said your open rates for ConvertKit were like super low. That sort of rang my bell because ConvertKit open rates are usually pretty good. And then I asked you, are you authenticating your own emails from your domain? And then you said yes. And I told you, if you're sending from a brand new domain, let ConvertKit handle the authentication. because you don't have the reputation to authenticate yourself yet. And then I think you immediately got a boost in your open rates.
Yeah, definitely. My open rates are pretty good for Scrapegram right now. I'm probably going to tweak it a little bit in the future as far as like my email marketing, but yeah, it's pretty great.
I remember it clearly because I said, I'm going to write you the emails. And then if it beats what you're doing now, then you pay me. Otherwise, you don't have to pay me anything. And another thing was that I think we got it pretty much on the first try, right? I only
Oh,
sent
yeah.
you like one email and you made a few tweaks to it and then it was rolling.
Yeah, we didn't have to change much because I mean, you've been in the game for how long? Like for so long, so you kind of know like how it works.
And mostly what I did when I wrote those emails, I was going off of the emails that you were writing already. I just made a few tweaks to those because really with the cold email, you don't have to overthink it too much. The emails that you were writing were basically 90% of the way there. I just had to rearrange a few things and reword a few things, and then we got it to where it needs to be.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how those small tweaks can just give you such a high performance boost. Super, super powerful for sure. You know, the process was pretty great, pretty like easy to do. I was super busy and you're like super patient with me.
So after going through this process and seeing how cold emails work, what do you think about first lines and first line personalization?
So personally, like from what I've seen, at least in the B2B SaaS niche, I don't think it's that necessary. I feel like people should just test out more before just assuming that first lines are going to be important. Like first lines might raise the open rate, right? Because they might see that preview text. But at the end of the actual offer and what you talk about is probably going to matter more because they might open it just because, oh, this is actually kind of personal. But at the end of the day, how do you market the offer that you're selling in the email? Because that's what it's all about. No one's going to buy your stuff because you mentioned that, oh, you went to this college. That's great. You have to focus on the right thing.
It's a perfect follow-up question. So what has been your experience with asking people to write you emails with first line personalization? You've shown me a few.
Most people don't know what the hell they're doing. I think I sent you one around. Yeah. I sent you one. So my buddy was asking me like, hey, what do you think about this email? I pay this guy to make me these emails. And my whole group chat, and I asked you and a few other people, just be like, hey, am I crazy? But yeah, it was really, really bad. Like I told him, you shouldn't have hired him. You should have just done it yourself. Because there's a lot of times where you hire people and they actually give you like worse results than just doing it on your own.
I saw his emails. His emails were like 10 times better than the one that the person he hired wrote for him.
Yeah, like no one cares. It's like, hey, Kevin, I'm impressed to know that you graduated from University of Missouri, Kansas City. That's great. Like, who gives a shit? No one cares.
That's what I say. The problem with first lines is a tactic. And a tactic can be copied and a tactic gets played out and a tactic, it can fatigue in the market. So the tactic might have worked like last year or the year before. And then people taught this tactic in like a course or whatever. And now everybody's doing it. So now it doesn't work anymore in the market. And if you see people like Don Bish, who's still successful at cold emails, they don't do first lines. They do some other stuff. They do other things to get people's attention. So they've actually pivoted and that's why they're successful. So the tactic is not the thing. If you have a tactic that works for a while, that's not actual business. People have built their entire business model around writing cold emails with first line personalization, when half of the time the first lines are shit. And the other half of the time, you don't even need first lines in the first place.
The way you do it, I feel like you've learned a lot of the good solid fundamentals for email marketing. And so you don't have to change up. If you use tactics as like a crutch, I've noticed a lot of people have to switch it every 6 months or so because tactics don't last. A lot of these tactics are more like fads, which might work for a little bit and then they kind of go away.
And that's also one of my problems with this space is really what they're selling is a make money online offer. We call them MMO, indirect response, where it's like a business opportunity that they're selling. They're not actually selling skills or an actual viable business. So it's like, okay, start this first line personalization agency, go get sales and tell them you'll do cold emails for them or book leads for them, and then just hire out all the work. And then 4 or 5 months later, they wonder why they're not making any money because the people, they don't know how to do the thing, first of all. They don't know how cold emails work, first of all. And then the people they hire to do the thing don't even know how to do it. So like it's like a big circle jerk all around.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
All right, man. So happy to hear that you're getting great results. And I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and answer these questions for me.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime, Nabil. Great talking to you.